Okay, boys and girls, here is question 2. First one, fill in bigger than, smaller than, or equal. So we are comparing these numbers. On the left hand side, I have 712 times 10. When I multiply a whole number with 10, I basically just add a 0, as you know. Okay, on the right hand side, I have 712 times 10 and times 10 again. I'm going to multiply by 10 first. So what do I do with the comma? I move it one place. So then I have 71, 2. The comma moved one place. Then I still need to multiply it with another 10. So the comma is going to move one more place. Then it's after the 2. So 7, 1, 2. And then my comma. There's nothing after the comma. So I have 712 here. Now which one is bigger, 7,000 or 700? The 7,000 is bigger. Remember, the mouth of the crocodile is always open to the bigger value. 2.1.2, I'm going to show you two different ways here. Now first of all, we can use diagrams to compare the two. I drew a circle here that's divided into 6 pieces. And it's 2 6s. Please do not color as your teacher. I know you can color in better than that. And then the next one is 2 5ths. So a circle divided into 5 parts. And I color in 2 of the 5. Now which is bigger? As you can see, the 2 5ths are bigger than the 2 6s. Okay, so that one is bigger. The other way we can do this, as I showed you, if we compare fractions, we need to make the denominator, the bottom numbers, the same. Well, what can I change 6 and 5 into? To check that, you can multiply those two of each other. 6 times 5 is 30. So I'm changing both of those fractions to 30. Okay, what did I do with the 6 to make it 30? I multiplied by 5. And then what I do at the bottom, I must always do at the top. 2 times 5 is 10. Okay, on this side, the 5 I changed to 30 as well. How did I do that? Times 6. What I do at the bottom, I do at the top. 2 times 6 is 12. And now you can still see that this 2 5ths or the 12 50s is bigger than the 2 6s or 10 50s. Okay, the last one here, 2.13, 21 over 42. Okay, if I look carefully at these numbers, 21 is half of 42. So this one is actually easy, that is a half. And the same on this side, 9 is half of 18. That's also a half. So that means they are equal to each other. 2.2, study the decimal fractions below and answer the questions. 8,67. Okay, remember before the comma I have my whole number, so that's 8 units. First place after the comma is 6 tenths, and that will be 7 hundredths. Okay, now the question is, what is the place value of the underlying digit? Okay, now place value is the place where it's at, and as we said, it is at the tenths. Okay, and then 2.2.2, what is the value of the underlying digit? Now we know it's at the tenths, but the value is how many tenths there are, and it's comma 6, so it is 6 tenths. We could have also said or 0,6. The 6 is after the comma. 2.3, calculate an even prime number multiplied by 712. Okay, we spoke about this quite a lot in the first term. Can you guys remember what is the only even prime number? Remember, a prime number only has 2 factors. Even numbers ends on 0, 2, 4, 6 or 8. So the only even prime number is the number 2. All the other even numbers are composite numbers. So I can divide it by 1 itself and 2. And sometimes there are more numbers to divide it with. So the only even prime number is 2. We multiply it with 712. So that is basically what we are doing here. 712 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 7 is 14. And there is my answer. 1424. Okay, 2.4. Draw any diagram to represent the following. 12 18s. Now I drew 18 blocks here, and we need to color 12 of them. As I'm going to show you, this is now quite a big diagram here to draw, but there are a simpler way to draw a smaller diagram. What do you think we're going to do here? We are going to simplify the fraction. Okay, make the fraction smaller. What can I divide into the top and bottom? Some of you might say 2, some of you might say 3, but we can divide there with 6. 12 divided by 6 is 2, 18 divided by 6 is 3. So it's basically 2/3. So you could do that, or you can draw a diagram. Doing it this freehand now. You please use a ruler and then you color 2/3. That's basically the same value. And then the last one on the page, 75%. Percentage is always out of 100. So the 75% is the same as 75 hundredths. Now to go and draw a diagram with 100 pieces, difficult, no? So what do we do with the fraction? We simplify it once again. Okay, what can I divide top and bottom? Some might say divide by 5. It's not wrong. I can divide both by 5, but if we think a little bit bigger, I can divide by 25, and that will give me 3/4. It's much easier to draw a diagram with 3/4 than 75 hundredths. I believe you agree with that. Okay, let's use a circle this time. So I divide the circle into quarters, and then I color 3 of the 4. That shows me 3/4. Okay, boys and girls, on the next page, 2.5, there are 3 apples for every 4 pears. Calculate how many apples and pears are in the basket if there are 56 apples and pears all together. So we have the total. We need to work out how many are apples and how many are pears. Just going to write here quickly, so it's a basic ratio sum. Okay, for every 3 apples, we have 4 pears. Just going to make apples there so that we can remember, and pears are on this side. Okay, first step we do is we put these two together. 3 and 4 gives me 7. So 3 7s are apples and 4 7s are pears. Okay, and then we know the total, there's 56 apples, so we need to work out 3 7s of the 56 apples. Now I know you like doing the off method, so let's use that. 56 we divide with the bottom. 56 divided by 7 will give me 8, and then that answer I times with the top. 8 times 3 gives me 24. Then we know there are 24 apples. Okay, and then the next one, 4 7s are pears, so 4 7s of 56. Use the off method again. 56 divided by 7, we already know is 8. Then I times it with the top, times 4 will give me 32. So there are 32 pears. Okay, just to check the answer, we can add these two. If I add 24 and 32, I will get my 56 apples again. Okay, 2.6 in a test, Siegle scores 40% in a test with a total of 50. And John scores 15 out of 25 in a test. How many marks did Siegle get on the test? Now they say here 40% and the test was out of 50. Now remember, percentage always out of 100, as we said in one of the previous questions. So 40% is 40 out of 100, but it was out of 50, so of 50. Okay, 50 divided by 100, we're going to have a decimal there. What can I do with this fraction to make the sum easier? I can simplify. Now, some of you might think divide by 2, some might say divide by 5, divide by 10, or divide by 20. Doesn't really matter as long as you make it simpler for yourself. If I look at both these numbers, both has a 0, so if I divide top and bottom with 10, I will have 4 tenths. That's the same as 40 hundredths. Okay, now it's easier to divide, so we have 50 divide with the bottom divided by 10 gives me 5, and then that answer I times with the top times 4 gives me 20. So Siegle has 20 out of 50. That's the mark that he got. Okay, 2.6.2, what percentage did John score in the test? Now they say here John had 15 out of 25 in a test. And they want the percentage. Again, percentage is out of 100. So we need to change this fraction to hundreds. How do I change 25 to 100? I times with 4. Golden rule of fractions, what I do at the bottom, I do at the top. 15 times 4 is 60. So John has 60% for his test. Okay, and then the last question, 2.6.3, who did the best in the respective tests? Now we know John got 60% and Siegle got 40%, so John had a better mark.